Hey crew, Conrad coming at you with a classified review on this Mazzone 5-link show quality sand car. You're going to want to sit tight and check this thing out. It is really, really nice. Okay, let's jump in. So this car is brought to you by Sandcar Buy-Sell crew member Danny DeBose. He is located in Yuma, Arizona, just a stone's throw from Gordon's Well. Lucky guy. He wants $15,000 firm with no trades, and I would say it's worth every penny, and you'll see why as we go through this review. So what do we have? Mazzone 110-inch wheelbase, all chromoly, mid-travel 5-link. One of the nicest, cleanest Mazzones around. Rebuilt the car at the beginning of last season from front to back. Weighs 1,020 pounds with fuel. 1,000 pounds with a 2276 turbocharged dry sump autocraft case. Was completely rebuilt by Off-Road Buggy Supply in Yuma at the beginning of last season, and has a Rancho Performance autocraft case transmission with Fultz billet center section with 2 seasons on it, Fox shocks with 14-inch front and 12-inch rear travel, new Alcantara upholstery, new smoothies up front, and comp cut Blackbirds on the rear. Car is super fast and has been very reliable, has full Mazzone tin package and quad gauge as well. So what I'm reading right there is very light, very fast with a 5-link and Fox shocks. This car has got to be a blast to drive. Okay, let's jump in. So let's see what we see. Now, first thing that jumps out to me is these front wheels. Now, this is pretty much a Mike Mazzone staple, and I'll show you the rears in a moment, but these wheels aren't just drilled out and then the halves are still showing through to the inside. No, there's an aluminum tube that's welded inside between, so it's just a beautiful finished wheel, and that's like a calling card of Mazzone. It's just these added little touches to these cars that just make them phenomenal when they're just even a rolling chassis package. All right, so I see some traditional laser star lights, lots of chrome on the arms, full side panels, front to back. And here is the 5 links. So we see 2 of them right there. He mentioned he's got some brand new Sand Tires Unlimited Blackbirds. That's what it was. We'll get to the comp cut in a second. And I don't know if those are 10-inch wide or 12-inch wide. Looks like we got Douglas wheels. Traditional overall styling on this. Let's jump into the next photo. And there it is, exactly what I was talking about. On the rear wheels, it's got the CNC disc brake kit on it. Those brakes come with 5 holes already around them. It's a really nice setup right from the factory. But then an extra step was taken, and the wheels were actually drilled out to match the holes on the CNC disc brakes. It's just one of those really nice touches that's done that I particularly appreciate. Also, what we're looking at is a set of the comp cut Blackbirds. Now, if you don't know what comp cut is, check this out. If you haven't already, you're going to want to head over to Instagram and jump on Sand Tire Basics page and follow those folks. And while you're there, go ahead and follow Sand Car Basics as well. You're going to love the photos. What do we got? 3,128 photos of a bunch of different sand cars. Okay, so we're not talking about the sand cars. We're talking about the comp cut. So let's jump back in. All right, so here we go. Let me scroll down a little bit, give you an idea. Here's a good example of the comp cut. So you can see where the regular section of tire would be. And what happens is they'll take a hot iron and cut all the way down to the cord. That's going to do 2 things. Number 1, it's going to lighten up the tire so it spins faster. And it's also going to give you a little bit taller of a paddle. You get a good idea of how it's been shaved down right there as well. So I'm sure you're asking yourself, what does this mean to me? All right, so we have gone ahead and got the comp cut, lightweight aluminum wheels, and a lightweight aluminum brake package as well. So what we've got there is unsprung weight. Remember, 1,020 pounds with a turbocharged VW with very light rear wheel setup. So that tire spins, it's going to displace the sand and get you going forward in no time. If you haven't ridden in a turbo VW mid-engine car like this before or driven one, you owe it to yourself. Even ask somebody at the hill, you'll be so surprised. These things are scary fast. All right, moving on. So what do I see on this one? Here we got the turbo. The exhaust comes out over the transmission, which is a really nice setup. The wing, it's got a wing on here. So we have a full top with a small wing with the taillights in it. That's a really nice touch. We get an idea of those front Fox shocks on there. And there's the sump for the dry sump system. That's about all I can see on that one. All right, let's jump into the next photo. Is this not a bitchin' photo or what? Of course, that's why I used it for the thumbnail. But this really gives you an idea of all the chrome on here. The uprights are chrome, the arms are chrome. Not only that, but the floor on the bottom is polished. Who polishes the bottom of a floor where most people don't see? I mean, unless you're doing a wheel stand, you're gonna polish it, right? So great job, Danny. That's really, really a nice touch. Gives you an idea of that 5-link rear setup. So you see those wheels are straight up and down. No pogo stick like you get in a swing axle rear car. And oh, you know what? We've got, these are Smoothie 2s. These aren't the 450s. These are the 6 something. I can never remember what they are. 600 Smoothie 2s, Sand Tires Unlimited. Best in the business. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next photo. Since we took a look at the front of the car, let's jump into the back. Here's a really good idea of that 5-link setup. Again, all chromed, uprights are chromed, CNC disc brakes. Check out the shocks on this. We've got Fox coilovers on the back. That means this car is going to ride really well and go over the whoop-de-doos, just skipping the tops of them because it's so light. Get an idea of the transmission when we say Autocraft case transmission. Beautiful setup for that turbo. We've got some nice little billet taillights on there. I do see a nice leather steering wheel. Okay, so let's jump into another photo. Here we are at the assembly stage, and one of the things I wanted to point out that I really dig on this car is, I mentioned earlier that it's got the full side panels front to back, but not only that, it's got interior side panels as well. So you can see the back side of those panels. There's the front side, and it flows into the seat. You'll see that in another photo when we go to the seat. But here's that hand-formed aluminum fuel tank. And again, I was mentioning that turbo sitting right up over the top of the engine. As far as the engine is concerned, it's going to be the best of the best. I'm not going to go into the crank and the rods and the heads and all the other stuff on this. Just know, you hear Autocraft, this car's going to fly, and it's going to be built with the best parts. Okay, next. Autocraft case right here. Beautiful webbing on the transmission on that case. Here's your billet side covers that you can see here. We've got a Prowlers, or God, what was it called? Prowlers before the San Fernando Buggy Center. Mid-engine shifter. It's just built right. Just a really nice setup. Okay, next. Now here's a great shot of that custom upholstery that he mentioned in the description. But look at the seat. Just beautiful. Remember how I was mentioning that it runs into the interior side panels? Look at the grab handle mount matching the steering mount, which I see has got a removable steering wheel as well. The headrests, those are tubes welded to the seat bar, and then the headrests can slide up and down. Just a really, really nice touch. Nice polished floors. But the next thing I'm really stoked to show you. Check this out. This is one of Mike Mazzone's signature gauges. He uses this aircraft gauge. It's a quad gauge. So what do we have? Oil pressure, oil temperature, your voltmeter, and then water temp. No, I'm just kidding. It's a Volkswagen. I don't know what that is. CMT, CHT, I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me in the comments. Got a boost gauge on here. We've got some dual handle walker brakes with some nice billet handles on those. I do see Jamar pedals sneaking out through here. So this isn't going to be Neil or CNC where you can't get replacement parts for them anymore because they've closed up shop. I also see a CNC angled polished gas pedal. Yeah. Okay. Next. And real quick, I want to touch on this. We've got an aluminum top on there. We also mentioned that it's got that small wing on it with the lights in it, but this has also got fabric on it as well. So matching the seat and then the fabric headliner, I guess you would call it. Just the extra touches that set it apart. All right, let's jump into some more photos. How about some in the dunes shots? That green paint with the polished aluminum and the chrome just jumping off the sand. I mean, that's one of the things for me going out to the dunes is you just have all the tan, you have the blue and the white, and I love cars that are painted with a color that pops off of the sand, and this one definitely does that. Because you're going to pull up to the hill in Buttercup, the comp hill, which is where we're at right here, maybe Oldsmobile Hill, and pull up into the lineup. With these types of cars, yeah, you're going to have some status. This is going to be perfect for the old school roundup as well, which is going to be held the first weekend in March, directly behind the Glamis store. It's a perfect candidate for that. I definitely recommend you head over to that show and check it out because it's a lot of fun. You're going to see a lot of history. So we'll go ahead and close this out by saying, thank you for watching. See you in the dunes.